Buenas noches. A petición de una mamá de Holanda, el buenas noches de hoy no va a ser una poesía, va a ser un cuento en inglés. The Tale of Peter Rabbit. A ver qué tal sale. Once upon a time there were 4 little rabbits and their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail and Peter. They lived with their mother in the sandbank underneath the root of a very big fir tree. Look, the very big fir tree. "Now, my dears," said old Mrs. Rabbit, one morning, "you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there. He was put in a pie by Mr. McGregor. Oh my God. Now run along and don't get into mischief. I'm going out." Then old Mr. Rabbit took a basket and her umbrella and went through the wood to the baker's. She bought a loaf of brown bread and 5 currant buns. Flopsy, Mopsy and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down the lane to gather blackberries. To gather blackberries. Para recoger. But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden. Look, this is Peter. And secrets under the gate. First, he ate some lettuce and some French beans, and then he ate some radish. Oh my God. Peter, you don't have to do this. And then, feeling rather chic, he went to look for some parsley. But round the end of a cucumber frame, whom should he meet but Mr. McGregor? Oh. Do you see? Mr. McGregor. He found it. Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting out young cabbage, but he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling out, "Stop, thief!" Look, Mr. McGregor and Peter Rabbit. Peter was most dreadfully frightened. He raced all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbage. Look, the shoe. Do you see? Shoe. Oh, Peter Rabbit, you're so bad. And the other shoe amongst the potatoes. Potatoes. Look, among the potatoes. Oh, Peter, carefully. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went faster, so that I think he might have got away altogether if he had not unfortunately ran into gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons quite now. Look, Peter Rabbit. My God. Peter gave himself up for lost and shed big tears, but these sobs were observed by some friendly sparrows who flew to him in great excitement and implored him to exert himself. Look, these are the birds, so beautiful. But Mr. McGregor came up with a sheaf which he intended to pop up on the top of Peter, but Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him. Look, this jacket. Do you remember the blue jacket? Yes. And rushed into a tool shed and jumped into a can. It would have been a beautiful thing to hide in if it had not had so much water in it. Look. In. Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed, perhaps hiding underneath a flower pot. He began to turn them over carefully, looking under each. Presently Peter sneezed. "Get to school!" Mr. McGregor was after him in no time. Look, the pot. Yeah, there, flower pot. Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright, and he had not so least idea which way to go. Also, he was very dumb with sitting in that can. Oh my God, where have to go? After time, he began to wander about, going lipty, not very fast, and looking all around. He found a door in a wall, but it was locked, and there was no room for a fat little rabbit, so squeezed underneath. Look, this is the door. There's no room, and he's very fat. And old Mouse was running in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas and beans to her family in the wood. Peter asked her the way to the gate, but she had such a large pea in her mouth that she could not answer. She only shook her head at him. Peter began to cry. Look, here's the old mouse. Do you see? This is the old mouse. So sweet. His cry. Then he tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he didn't find it. My God. He went back towards the tool shed, but suddenly, quite close to him, he heard the noise of hoe, scritch, scratch, scritch, scratch. Peter scattered underneath the bushes. Look, she scattered. But presently, as nothing happened, he came out and climbed up on the wheelbarrow and peeped over. The first thing he showed was Mr. McGregor hoeing onions. His back was turned towards Peter, and beyond him was the gate. Look, and this is the gate. But here's Mr. McGregor. Peter got down very quietly off the wheelbarrow and started running as fast as he could go along a straight wall behind some blackcurrant bushes. But Mr. McGregor caught sight of him at the corner, but Peter did not care. He slipped underneath the gate and was safe at last in the wood outside the garden. Look! Here's Mr. McGregor, and here's Peter, and he at last find outside into the wood. But Mr. McGregor hung up the little jacket and the shoes for a scarecrow to frighten the blackbirds. Look, the jacket and the shoes to frighten the blackbirds. Peter never stopped running or looked behind him till he get home to the big fir tree. Look. He was so tired that he flopped down upon the nice soft sand on the floor of the rabbit hole and shut his eyes. His mother was busy cooking. She wondered what he had done with these clothes. It was the second little jacket and the pair of shoes that Peter had lost in a fortnight. The second. I'm so sorry to say that Peter was not very well during the evening. His mother put him to the bed and made some chamomile tea, and she gave a dose of it Peter. Oh, 1 tablespoonful to be taken at the bedtime. Look, this is the matter. Peter's mother. But Flopsy, Mopsy, a cottontail, had bread and milk and blackberries for supper. So nice. The end. Esto es lo que pasa cuando desobedeces. The Tale of Peter Rabbit. Colección original de Beatrix Potter.